the DeFi standard. And this is Mickey B. Fresh.
And Patty XRP.
And today we got some exciting news. We are going to have an AMA with the Flare Finance team on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that'll be a live stream. And we will be discussing the current situation over at Flare Finance and the allegations going on with Flare Finance, and also what's their updates going forward with Songbird Finance. Also, we're going to talk about State Connector system is implemented on the Kusama network on Songbird. So that's exciting that has been rolled out. But let's get into this situation over at Flare Finance, Patty. And we're going to break it down for all the viewers of what's going on, and then they can kind of gather their questions and ask in the AMA on Wednesday. And hopefully we'll be able to provide some good information for everybody to understand the full situation and the facts at hand. So give us the rundown here, Patty, of what's going on with Flare Finance.
Yeah, absolutely. So this AMA, like Mickey said, will be on Wednesday, 2 p.m. EST on our channel as a live stream. We're going to be joined by Delvin and Bannock, a couple of the founders from the team. Additionally, Flare community, I believe, will be joining us as well to help ask questions. Right now, they tweeted out earlier today a Google Doc if you want to submit any there. We have quite a few questions between the three of us we want to ask as well. Mainly centering around some allegations that I've recently become aware of thanks to Gaz Old School on Twitter in particular, seen some of his posts. So some of the direct questions to address that stuff that we're going to ask is about this Flare Finance BV incorporated entity in the Netherlands. We're going to ask about relation of one of the individuals that is listed as a stakeholder in it, and some possible ties to an ongoing court case with fraud, which obviously is a big concern. I've been told that they will be addressing all of that kind of stuff. So we're going to get more information around that. We'll see about what their stance is on their current anonymity going forward, if that's going to change. And then also, addressing some of the technical stuff like FTSO delegation rewards, why, what's up with the issues on that? Why is it taking so long? What challenges are they facing, things of that nature. And then also just some of the stuff going on with the loan system, since they're having issues liquidating bad loans. And, some of them look rather under collateralized at the moment. So that's some of the stuff that we specifically will be asking. And then I'm sure everybody else has plenty of other questions that will be on the Google Doc that you can send in to them. So that's touching on the AMA. We'll tweet out before that a link to it and all that stuff on Wednesday morning or early afternoon before it starts. But aside from that, let's get into the Songbird Network updates, Mickey.
So can I just throw in one thing here? I just want to make it clear for all the viewers and the whole community that Flare Finance is a application of protocols being built on top of Flare and Songbird. They are in no relationship with the founders of the Flare network and Songbird, who are building the actual blockchain, the FTSO, the state connector system, validator set, the nodes, all the software they've been working on for 4 years, from PhD computer scientists all over the world. That's Flare network team. All right. So there is a very big difference between these two entities, even though they have the same name. So it's important for us as a community to try to separate those two. Flare Finance is just some DeFi application that's going to be on Flare and Songbird, along with hundreds of others in the near future.
All right. So with that, Flare penned a blog post a couple days ago titled Infrastructure Update Preparing for State Connector Launch, Stage 1 of 2. So with this, the Songbird Canary Network has been updated, and the updates will activate on Monday, March 7th, which is today, in the first of 2 stages of preparation for launching the State Connector. So with this update, some of the new things that are going on is they're going to have easier code base upgrades and maintenance, updated build system with latest Go support, which Go is a programming language that's utilized in the Flare network. They're going to have granular control over available APIs and pruning, dynamic fees for transactions, which we'll touch on some more specifics here. Snowman leader-based consensus, which we'll also get into. This is an upgrade to the Avalanche consensus protocol, which Flare utilizes a retooled version of that for federated Byzantine agreement. So it's a little different than how Avalanche's proof of stake. Also, they implemented gossiping of memory pool transactions. So this has to do with how the nodes and validators communicate with one another, and then some performance improvements and bug fixes. And then the most exciting thing I would say is the deployment on Songbird of the state connector code, and then deployment and activation of state connector code on Costin. So with this, they're actively testing it on the Costin test network right now. The code that is the state connector is now part of the Songbird network, but will be activated in the future. And what they're saying is a couple weeks, so later in March. All right, so moving on down here further, Mickey. So right now, this new dynamic fee model will change the potential network throughput and how it handles demand peaks. The target is now 150 million gas per 10 seconds, with blocks generated at a maximum rate of 1 per second. And they will allow peaks of up to 300 million gas per 10 seconds. And when that happens, fees will start to increase to price out any, not necessary transactions during that time period. And then it will gradually come back down after that's happened. Moving on further with the Snowman upgrade. So the basis of consensus will be changed from Snowman, which is leaderless, to this new Snowman version, which is leader based. Previously, anyone could generate valid blocks at any time. Sometimes these blocks could conflict, creating contention on the network, reducing throughput and causing validator work to be wasted. So Snowman solves this issue by agreeing who is allowed to generate blocks at what time. If the leader doesn't generate a block soon enough, others can still propose a block, so the chain can always make progress.
So this is interesting because this is different than the XRP ledger and how the UNL works there, which is leaderless. But to get that leader, the Flare network is able to utilize randomization functionality from the consensus there. And I believe they also use like the virtual voting system that's used in the FTSO that is based off of Hedera hash graphs. So this makes it leader based, and now it makes it fall more in line with Tendermint and other proof of stake protocols. So I think this is really important. As well as it being similar to Stellar, right? So we have these overlaps of UNLs. So just so everyone understands here with the state connector system, there's a group of validator nodes on every blockchain that has an F asset. So Litecoin, Dogecoin, XLM, XRP, all have a validator set of, I think it's like 5 to 7 or 8 different validators that run on those networks natively, and then also run on the Flare network, and they're able to send that data back in a trustless, verified manner. And that's what was just implemented here on Costin. This has taken them years to build. It is the first ever state connector system built in a trustless way. So I think this is important. I know it's very techy and it might not interest everyone, but it's going to have a huge impact on Flare's success in long term, because it's a foundation that's going to create interoperability. And I think that at the start is very important.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, just to re-clarify with that, this is the first part of the process of fully launching it on Songbird. They said the activation will come later in March. And then from there, my understanding is we should be getting the roadmap for how do we get to Flare launch from there, how quickly that could possibly happen after the state connector has been activated and everything's good to go with that, since that's kind of the biggest technical piece that they're working with here. So we're all just waiting on that. I have no idea how much longer it'll take after the state connector is activated until Flare goes live. So we'll know once they have that kind of roadmap out. Additionally, here, they're implementing this memory pool gossiping. So communication was previously only possible through the creation of blocks. With this update, nodes will now be able to gossip transactions among each other And this kind of ties into with the hash graph consensus paper as well, like Mickey was saying there with the federated virtual voting. And then also the gas price minimum is being changed. So it's going to be reduced from 225 million to 25 million per transaction, meaning that the transactions on the Songbird network can be 9 times cheaper. So we'll have to see how that kind of works once it's put out there. Additionally, while Flare was already burning transaction fees before this change, the minimum gas price is now made up of a base fee and a priority fee. The priority fee works as like a tip. So the network, which is determined by consensus, will set a base fee for certain types of transactions and how much gas they require. And then if you want your transaction to go through, maybe you don't care about it going through fast, so you do the lowest gas fee setting to get it through and it takes longer, you could do that. Or maybe you're in like a highly contested NFT mint and you want to make sure your transaction gets through as quickly as possible, you could increase that gas fee and pay more. So that's kind of what that's enabling there, along with separating the tip and the base fee. So yeah, I mean, I think that hits on kind of all the important stuff, Mickey. Yeah, what other kind of things?
Oh, I just want to, everyone to understand that Flare is going to have a decentralized consensus when it launches out the gate. And how is it able to do this? It's because it's bootstrapping off of those other blockchains and their established validator nodes or miners. So some of those UNL validators might be a miner from Litecoin or a miner from Doge or a miner from Bitcoin in the future that make up that UNL. And then there's some overlap amongst them individually. So this creates a decentralization of validator set without using value to incentivize that grouping of validator nodes. So, everyone's, I know, frustrated with the delay, and it's taken, it's been almost a year. But we have to keep in mind here that this network is going to launch fully decentralized consensus, bridged to 5 other blockchains, and have a token distributed out to tens of thousands of community members of the 5th largest crypto in all of the market. So all those things set aside are going to be there when it launches. Most layer 1 networks have to get all that going after they launch. So this is, I think, crucial to understand that they're doing all of this now instead of having to do it, as the network's trying to launch and build a community and decentralize. It's already all done. So then all the applications could come and build, knowing that, okay, we're not doing like 5 years of different upgrades like some other protocols have done.
Yep. So moving on from that into this recent Flare Finance blog. So just to touch on some of the things they said here. Basically, they said during this process, we have been far from perfect, and thus the concerns voiced by the community are mostly valid. Along every journey, there are unexpected and unpredictable turns, but we believe the key is to always keep building. We will continue to build our way through both legitimate issues and FUD/noise, undeterred as always. So they said also, though we are almost ready to push fixes to the WSGB delegations across the platform and to release all accumulated rewards to their respective holders, a number of members of our development team have been directly affected by the Ukraine events, and therefore they've been kind of working on getting them all set up, whether people have left or stayed, and making sure they're all right. Also, I know they've basically run their new delegation process through an auditor, they're saying. So we'll have to see what the outcome of that is. And that's something that will be addressed in the AMA as well on Wednesday. Another thing, they're currently in the process of obtaining the necessary data to determine the top 500 DFLR earners from X5 Phase 1. And then when their analysis is complete, they will airdrop the Samurai NFTs to those individuals. So that's kind of like the gist of everything. I mean, we touched on at the beginning some of the questions that we're going to specifically ask, and then we'll see what else is on there from the Google Doc. So, at least my hope with having this AMA is that we can ask all the questions that everybody wants to know the answers to, and that they will be answered, and that we'll be getting more transparency around things going on and, how the team functions going into the future. But, with that, I just want to be a neutral person asking, and then everybody can kind of make their own judgments as to how they feel about the situation. If they want to use Flare Finance in the future, it's fine if you don't. If you do, then hopefully this will help you be able to gauge that better. So, yeah, anything else here, Mickey?
No, it's just exciting to see the state connector system being launched here. And I know it's just on a test net, but this paves the way for F asset launching. So with Songbird, everyone needs to keep in mind that it doesn't have its full capabilities yet. We only have one asset, really, Songbird, and then you have XFi, right? There's not a plethora of assets from other networks coming over like there will be on Flare. Songbird is a canary network. It's supposed to be like a playground to be able to test in anticipation for launching on Flare. So it's experimental. It's not financial advice, but I think, you should be mindful of using a canary network and large amounts of value. But we will be able to test probably minting F assets, in the next month or two, Patty, before Flare launches. And that's exciting for me in the XRP community, having the ability to bring over our XRP in a very low risk, trustless way to earn yield and also have the full capabilities of using in a DeFi EVM ecosystem that's going to be developed on Flare. So these are all great things that are coming. It's just we have to be patient, and certain hiccups and delays do happen with rolling out software and protocols, especially cutting edge new open source technology that Flare team is building. Now, Flare Finance, they're building applications. So hopefully they will have some answers to many of our concerns, and also a plan for FTSO reward delegations, because there's some really new designs out there where I think they could take advantage of the FTSO system and the way it rewards Songbird and Spark holders to be able to develop other applications and composability and synergies for their ecosystem with that in mind. So Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, please join us. I'm Mickey B. Fresh.
Patty XRP.
And we're out.